Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar hosted by FlowForma Process Automation. My name is Ursula Cullen, and I work here at FlowForma, and I'm delighted to invite you all along to today's session. So we have a really exciting session ahead. It's an interactive virtual demo and live Q&A. So before we get started, I might just cover a couple of housekeeping tips. So this webinar is being recorded, and we will share the recording with you all after the event. For any assistance, please email info@flowforma.com. Your lines are muted and they will be muted for the entirety of this event. But if you do have any questions, we suggest you use the Q&A functionality in GoToWebinar. We would like to keep this interactive and share your feedback and your thoughts with us. So please use the Q&A and share your reactions via the reactions buttons as well. We have a couple of polls throughout this event as well, so please take part and share your thoughts and your experiences. And as I mentioned, after the webinar, the recording will be shared and we will have some exclusive offerings for you all. So today's agenda, so we have quite a jam-packed agenda for the 1 hour session. What we'll do is we'll start off with an introduction to FlowForma. So FlowForma is the fastest time to value process automation tool on the market, and we're going to prove that to you today. Robbie is going to share a little bit about FlowForma and how FlowForma supports business and IT leaders to achieve their business goals. He's also going to share some real-world success stories as well, which is very exciting. And the main part of today's session is to meet our new AI features. So David Shanley is kindly going to share a demonstration of the new FlowForma Copilot. And with the FlowForma Copilot, you can actually digitize a process in under 30 seconds. So get ready to have your socks blown off you. And he'll also cover our AI summarization features. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. So as I said, we'd love to keep this interactive. So please pop your questions in. We will try answer a couple of questions throughout the demonstration, but we'll also have some allocated time at the end to cover any additional questions as well. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to your hosts for today. So you have myself, Ursula Cullen, I'll be managing things on the back end, and I'm also joined by Robbie Keane, and he's a solutions consultant here at FlowForma. Robbie is your go-to FlowForma expert. He has a wealth of experience and he's seen plenty of companies digitize simple to complex processes across multiple industries and verticals. So welcome, Robbie. Robbie's going to share some insights with you all today on how digitization can rapidly support your organization's operational excellence and achieve its efficiency goals for 2025. So welcome, Robbie. And next we have, thanks, Robbie. Next we have Dave Shanley. So Dave is a senior solutions consultant here at FlowForma. He is committed to supporting organizations in evaluating FlowForma and demonstrating proof of value. So that's something that Dave is very passionate about. And he'll be demonstrating the power of the FlowForma process automation tool today. So we're really excited to see your demo, Dave. Great. So I'll pass over to you, Robbie, and you're going to, oh, sorry, before we get started, we have a poll. So yes, as I said, let's keep this interactive. So what we'd love to hear from our audience today is what is fueling your push for process automation in 2024 and beyond. So let me just share the poll with you all now. You have 5 choices to choose from. The first one is operational improvements, cost savings, improved data quality, time savings, and digital transformation. So that's great. I can see lots of votes coming in already. So yeah, what's really fueling your push for process automation in 2024? I'll just give that another 5 seconds and then we'll close and we'll take a look at the results. So 5, 4, 3, 2, oh, still some votes coming in. 1. Okay, great. We'll end that there now and share the results. Okay, so Robbie and Dave, what are your thoughts? So coming in with 67% is operational improvements, and then closely following behind that digital transformation. Are you surprised with those results, Robbie?
Not really, no. There's an equal balance across. Obviously, operational improvement sticking out there is ultimately one. If anyone who is voting for any of those categories would like to reach out and have a consultation around workflow optimization, harmonization of systems for cost saving, any of those key areas. If you're interested in having a conversation, I'd love to be on the other end of a consultation with you to see how we could achieve those things for you.
Fantastic. Perfect. Now, Robbie, I will hand over to you.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm just going to give a brief overview of FlowForma. So who we are. So FlowForma is a global leader in enterprise class digital process automation. It's designed to meet the needs of both business and IT teams, helping them quickly digitize processes, improve data collection, and drive operational excellence. FlowForma is the perfect fit for mid to large size enterprises that want to empower their teams to easily digitize and optimize any business processes, no matter how complex. In fact, we tend to excel at the complex because we're process driven. It enables users to effortlessly create forms and workflows while seamlessly creating documents and reports, all within a single platform. Talk a bit about our global community then. So with over 300,000 users worldwide, FlowForma is a market leader in digital process automation. And our focus is to ensure that customers quickly see value from the platform. We aim to get them up and running in literally no time at all. Their first process is live really fast, with the goal of delivering real measurable results within the first 6 weeks of deployment. We encourage our customers to use FlowForma across the entire organization. So we believe every organization should have a process automation platform that can be used in all departments, in every location, to benefit every team member. And here at FlowForma, I know certainly from my background in solutions and delivery, customer success is at the heart of everything that we do. And we really take pride in offering world-class support to guide you in every step along the way of your digital automation journey. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about some use cases. So our product is used to digitize processes across a wide range of industries. And here's just some examples here on your screen now of processes our customers have transformed. Coming up just now in a few moments, momentarily, and my colleague David here is going to show you how Copilot can automate one of these processes in literally seconds. It's absolutely amazing. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about integrations in terms of FlowForma's capability, because we all know in today's business environment where multiple applications are involved in processes, it's essential that they communicate effectively and with minimal overhead. One way, just one of the ways that FlowForma supports this is through our no-code web API manager. The FlowForma no-code web API manager seamlessly connects FlowForma to thousands of other systems, allowing users to communicate with any REST-based API. This method covers over 10,000 commercial off-the-shelf applications, as well as any custom-built applications with a web API. It's designed to be the most cost-efficient way to build integrations, offering rapid configuration compared to traditional coded solutions. I'm sure if you have any background, if you've ever attempted that before, you'll know what I'm talking about. But FlowForma does it instantly with no code. It's really something. So integration can add significant value by exchanging data and documents between FlowForma and third-party systems. Some of the key benefits naturally then would include increased accuracy, as master data ensures consistency and smooth data transfers. There's increased speed, as third-party systems can be updated instantly. And then there's reduced costs by minimizing errors and pre-populating data. And of course, improved security. And if there's any integrations, conversations, again, I'd love to have that conversation. So anyone that was particularly interested in that, reach out for a consultation. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you on that. But just a little bit about the new features that you're about to see now. So the AI process automation. So like I said, I'll be handing over to Dave now shortly for a live demo. But first, I just want to introduce one of our latest features, which is FlowForma Copilot. And at FlowForma, we know it can take valuable time for flow builders to fully understand their organization's business processes. This usually means spending time with process owners to gather enough knowledge before automation can begin. But imagine if, as a flow builder, you had a process expert available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with detailed knowledge of thousands of business processes. An expert who could help you tailor processes with your exact needs quickly, simply, and intuitively. I'm not talking about myself or Dave in this instance, but that's exactly what FlowForma Copilot offers flow builders. So it's powered by generative AI. Copilot can create working process in seconds. It can create a working process in seconds, which can then be fine-tuned and customized through simple natural language commands. You can share these processes with stakeholders to get their input and approval, and then roll them out quickly to meet your organization's automation goals. So like I said, just in a few minutes now, you're going to see Copilot in action and discover how it can transform your organization. The second AI innovation that I'm excited to introduce then is AI summarization. I love this, coming from the tech side of the house in terms of implementation. It's really nice just to be able to sit it into existing processes. This groundbreaking feature leverages generative AI to enhance existing and new flows like never before. So with AI summarization, you can now automatically generate concise summaries of your forms, offering a clear snapshot of your processes at any given point. This feature includes a new rule for creating summaries and a feedback type question to evaluate the quality of the content, ensuring relevance and accuracy. These AI-powered summaries can be instantly displayed within forms, or they can be embedded in emails, or they can be generated in documents. It's perfect for processes with multiple steps or many questions. So you can imagine if your flow participants receiving a clear text-based summary without having to scroll through previous steps, saving them time and boosting efficiency. It's particularly nice with a decision-based process, something that at every step of the way, the stakeholder has a concise summary of the journey that particular process has taken. It's really nice. That's AI summarization in a nutshell. So I hope that's sparked your excitement for the upcoming demo. So I'll hand over to David now to dive in and give us a preview of these features.
Thanks, Robbie.
No problem.
I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so the plan of action for the next 40 minutes or so is to focus initially on what it's like for end users to interact with FlowForma forms. Then we're going to take a look at an incident management process. We're going to go under the hood of that process and look and see how it's built using Flow Designer. And we're also going to look and see how that build has been enhanced considerably by the use of Copilot to have that ability to get that framework of the build in place and then build on it yourself. We're also going to take a look at analytics, and if we have time, we'll take a look at document generation as well. So I'm going to start here with our SharePoint team site dashboard here. So if you're an end user and you're interacting with FlowForma via your browser, you can do so via a link in an email. So if you've got a step in a form you need to fill out, you can do so via your email. Simply clicking the link, it will take you through to your form. Or if you have a high volume of forms, say that come across your desk on a daily basis, you might want to use a SharePoint team site like you see here. Easy to configure, easy to customize. I can go into a section here, a page like HR forms, and that gives me a working dashboard. So I can go in here and I can interact with any pre-existing forms that require my attention in the queue here, and I can initiate any form here by clicking on the relevant tile. So for example, if I were to click on travel approval, that's going to open up that form instance for me. And again, just to talk a little bit about the layout of the form and the terminology that we use, the header portion is fully customizable up at the top here. And in the gray step bar here, you can see there's 3 steps. A step essentially is a block of content you can attribute to a person or a group of people. We're currently on the initial step called travel request details. And you can see there's 2 subsequent steps here for line manager approval and general manager approval. So these steps are running sequentially from one step through to the next, but you can also have steps run in parallel if need be. And also what's worth mentioning here at this point too is we also have a feature called Engage that allows you to bring external parties into a defined step in a process using a form service. That can be done either anonymously or using secure access. So again, this is the steps here. You've got your step bar, which contains the steps, and then you have your questions here. So you'll see with the questions, putting through information, I've got a repeating table here. And if I were to fill out this very, very quickly, let's just say I'm going from A to B, and I'm returning on the 2nd in the morning. So when I click submit, That's me finished with this step in the form, and the form would close out and it would move on to the next available person. So once my manager receives it, this is the step they're on, they can click on the previous step and review the submission read-only, or as you can see here, you can copy the content through and make it read-only and give that information to the manager front and center. There's business rules firing here as well. So for example, if I say no, we have a rule of firing, it's a smart form. It's asking, do I have an amendment? If I say yes to that, I can put in my amendment here. And the moment I click submit, there's rules firing here as well. So this type of rule you've seen here is called a question change rule. Fires in a trigger question, gives you that smart form interaction. When I click submit, I have rules firing here as well. In this case here, it's going to pass back to the previous step and show those comments on the previous step. That's just a quick introduction to the form. So again, we've got our steps attributable to a person or to a group of people, and we have our questions, also known as fields. So I'm going to close out here. I'm going to step into incident management here. So this is a trial environment here. I'm just going to go into the landing page. And Robbie's going to be talking about the trial environments after the demonstration. So the process we're going to take a look at here is an incident management process. So I'm going to go in here and edit existing process flow. And I'm going to go into my incident management here. And this opens up what's called Flow Designer. So Flow Designer essentially is what's now a 4-in-1 toolkit. It combines forms, workflow, document generation, and now Copilot in a single build interface. Now I'll talk a little bit about the layout here first, but what I want to do is I'm going to knock off Copilot and I'm going to put on Form Preview, because this is how I would usually build out a form prior to the arrival of Copilot. In the left-hand panel, you have your steps. Under each step, you have your associated questions. And in the right-hand panel, you have a preview of what you're building as you're building it. In the central panel, you add your rules and additional configurations here. So those are the 3 panels. Now, typically, if I was building, and if this is a webinar, say, from 6 months ago, I would be building from the ground up from scratch. So you wouldn't have any of these steps here. In this panel would be completely empty. And what I would be doing is I would be going in and I would be adding my steps. I want to show you what that looks like. So again, if I go to add a step here, let's just call it a step. The moment I add my step, it now appears as my 6th and final step. I can position that as my first step if I wish. And now once I select a step, I can add questions to that step. So if I were to add a question, this is the question editor. We've all the various different question types that are available to us. I'll be going into these in greater detail during the build onto Copilot. I'm just going to select single line of text here. And that's how I would build. So you'd start by adding your steps. To each step, you would add your respective questions, and then you would apply your business logic. Now, I'm notoriously slow at typing. I'm a 2-finger typer, so it takes me quite a long time. But what I want to show you here, if I remove this step, is what Copilot can do for you. So I'm going to toggle on Copilot. And this here is a chat I've already had with Copilot. And again, when you're using Copilot, as per the instructions at the head here, you need to be precise and clear with your queries. Use the appropriate process keywords like it's a step, it's a process, it's a question, and clearly mention the name or number of the step, the question, or the response. So what I've done here is I put in an instruction, create incident management process. And this is what I got back 3 or 4 seconds later. As you can see, it's got 6 steps. It's got questions on the first step, but no questions yet on the subsequent steps. So what I did was I went in and asked add questions to each step as my query. When I did that, it returned questions for each step, as you can see here. So I was quite happy with that, but I thought the questions were a little bit long. They're quite descriptive. So before I change that, I just removed step 6, which is for documentation. I don't need that step. And I also asked it to shorten the questions, as you can see here in this one. So all of these queries were responded in 3 or 4 seconds. As you can see here, regenerate the last response to a question title instead of long description has given me now this short abbreviated question title, which is perfect. At this point in time, I was happy to click build, which I did. The moment I clicked build, this left-hand panel here was populated with each of the steps and each of the questions in each step. And that is a great starting point. It saves me an awful lot of time. What happens a lot of the time in organizations is that process builders can get bogged down trying to extract information from the process owner. It can be quite a long, arduous process. If it's a complex process with a high volume of steps, this is a very, very good framework to get in place in a matter of seconds and allow you to go in then and modify it. And before I go in and modify this, which I'm going to do next, this is the build portion, building on top of what Copilot has kindly done for me. I'm just going to show you what was done previously for two other processes. So this is an employee appraisal process here. So I'm just going to show you this very quickly. So you can see here, this is a brand new session, and I'm putting in an instruction here to create steps in a new product innovation first. And when I click on the little plane, a few seconds later, it returns all of the steps. Not only does it return the steps, in this case, it actually returns a set of questions for each step as well. So again, what I want to do here is I want to put an instruction in place to ensure that the questions are not quite as long as they are there. They're descriptive there. We want to have shorter question titles instead. So I'm putting in the instruction there.
Question just come in there, Dave, while you're working through this. It's how easy is Copilot to use? I think the last few minutes there might be a bit self-explanatory, but in terms of so
it's
it's just natural language commands, really.
Yes, it is. They just have to be instructional, and you can see what it's returned in your previous query. So for example, if I wanted to remove step 3, I simply say remove step 3. If I want to remove a question, say remove question 2 from step 3. So that's one chat I've had there, and that was around new product innovation. Let's just say I want to try another process here and see what Copilot gives me back. This time I'm going to go for an employee appraisal process. And again, you'll see it's going to give me back its interpretation here, which is quite a good one, and it's one I'm quite happy with. So the only thing I'm going to do here is I just want to shorten the descriptive questions to make them shorter and snappier.
It's really as easy as that, then, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and that's my natural typing speed as well, and it's even quick for me. So you'll see here, response is coming back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm happy with that now. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually go and I am going to click build, and straight away in the left-hand panel, which is currently empty, you'll see the steps and the questions coming through. And what I have immediately at hand now is I have that framework, and I can go and create a test form straight away, and I can take a look and see exactly what I have. It's great for visualization. It's great to understand exactly how I need to refine the process build as well.
Yeah, and that was literally seconds from natural language command and Copilot to a process build.
It is.
And you've got that framework, and you can then go and take it and discuss where and what needs to be altered. But it's amazing.
Exactly, it is. It's incredible. And again, like a cookery show, here's one I made earlier. So we're at the point now where we've clicked build, and this is what we have now in our panel for steps and questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build on top of what Copilot has put together for me. And to do so, I'm going to toggle off Copilot. I don't need it now. I'm going to go into form preview, and I'm going to start building this out. So again, just as a reminder, in the left-hand panel, you have your steps, block of content. You can see it rendered here in the right-hand panel as a step box. That's a block of content for a person or group. You can see all the questions here underneath each of the steps, and you can see the preview here. And the middle panel is for config and for adding and removing questions and steps, and also adding your rules, most importantly. So I'm going to start here on the initial step. I'm going to select the reporter's name, and I'm going to edit that. I'm going to change that to a person or group question type. See all the question types here. So these align with native SharePoint data types. We have our own custom question types in place here too. There's a lot to choose from. I'm going to select a person or group. I'm going to set it to the current user. The moment I do that, you'll see it's going to pick me up here. The contact number. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use some lists in the background, but you could use a get user profile rule here as well. I have a list called employee details. There's me in that list. I want to use a get list data rule now, and I'm going to go and pull through the contact number and map it into the contact number here. So rules fire again, because we're going to start adding our rules as we go. You've got different trigger points for rules. Question change rules fire on the trigger question where the question control is. So the moment that question control changes, has a value in it, that box, which is the case here, I can then apply a rule here. And it's called a question change rule. It fires on the trigger question. So I know that once it pulls my name in here, I can then use a get list data rule to go and pull that information through from the list I just showed you. And I'm going to make this read only. I'm going to make this read only. I'm going to my trigger question. If I go to my add rules, you see all the rule categories available to you. You've workflow control rules, which you're going to be using 60, 70% of the time at the outset. You've all these data integration rules, lots to choose from. Native integration, obviously, SharePoint lists and document libraries, out-of-the-box integration into SQL, connectors and logic apps and Power Automate, and we've got our API connections rule as well. And even for legacy systems, we've got CSV mapping as well. So if you've got a flat file you want to map into a table, you can do so. So there's lots of depth here. What I'm going to use is a get list data rule. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to extract from my employee details list the appropriate information. So again, there's my employee details list. The filter I want to apply is where the name equals the reporter's name. And my mapping is to contact number from contact number in the list. And that's it. And what I like to do here as well is just copy and paste through into the title, a little context here. Now, as you're building, you can save as you go if you want. You can automatically save too. But what I can do as I'm building is I can create test forms here as well by simply clicking on Start Test Form. So you can see here that rule is fired. What I want to do next here is I'm going to actually change this to a choice between system and service. If system is chosen, I'm going to look up a list here. And I want to only extract the appropriate information for system from the name column. So to do so, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change this to a choice question. I'm going to make it system or service. And we could do it as radio or drop down. Now, if say system is chosen, I want to be able to ask the user what system is it. So system, I'm going to make that a lookup. The list I want to look up is the list I just showed you here. And we're going to extract and filter information from the name column. So again, if I go into my list, column I want to look up is the name column. Filter I want to apply is where the area equals, in this case here, the chosen affected system service. Again, we can test this out. I'm just going to go in here first and just make one more change. I'm going to add my lookup. Just drop this here. So you'll see our system service lookup here now. And if I go in now and create a test form, you'll see if I choose system, I'm only going to see associated items for system. So what I could do then is I could apply a rule here. I could hide system, and then I could go into this trigger point here and apply another question change rule. I only want to see system if the user has chosen system as the affected area. So if I go to my add rules and use a hide show question rule, and I go in and edit my conditions, This is my condition editor here, and it's simple business logic we're using. So if I drill down here, if affected system service equals system, simple logic, it's 100% no code. If that condition is fulfilled, I want to show system, which is hidden. And you do the same thing then again for service as well. We'll just do for system for the moment. But again, your condition can be as complex as it needs to be, and the actions that come out of a fulfillment of that condition, there can be multiple actions. You could be showing some questions, hiding others, enabling, disabling question controls. So again, you can test it very quickly. Now it's visible. Now it's gone. So it's a smart form interaction. If I go in here for my incident description, I can make that multiple lines of text. So I want to get a little bit more detail. And the date of the incident, I'm going to change that to date and time. Severity level. I might do something a bit different here with this one. I'm going to make this a choice. And we can go with high, medium, low. But what I might do here is I might include colors here. So I'll go red for go for maybe a kind of an orange for medium, maybe a gray for low. And what we'll do here is, if a user's choosing a severity level, maybe we'll give them some indication as to, whether or not that's the right choice for them. So you want to try and control how the user's interacting with the form. I'm going to put in a warning. Now this is a separator I'm going to use here, which is a graphical representation that appears on the step. So it can impart information front and center to the end user. So I'm going to use a separator here. And in that separator, I'm going to just have a warning. Not a very instructive one here in this case here, but you'll get the idea. So what we'll do is, let's just say somebody picks high as a severity level. Maybe we want to impart to them, okay, only use this if it's a certain incident. So we're going to hide the warning. On here, severity level, we'll apply another question change rule, a hide show question rule. And what we'll do here is edit the conditions. If severity level equals high, and again, it's simple logic. No coding involved. The severity level equals high. What we want to do is we want to show that warning. So we're trying to control how the user engages with the form. Now we might include here as well an option to upload an image. So I'm just going to call it image. So let's just say the incident, there's some sort of an error appearing on their screen. They might want to take a picture of it. So we'll use a file upload to do that. What we'll do though is we'll show the image in preview, and we will allow the annotation over that image as well. That means you can actually mark over the image. And will we do anything else here? I think that's enough for the first step. Let's take a look at what we have here so far. So again, business rule firing here, call the question change rule. We've got our incident description, date of incident. You could set that to today if you wanted to. Severity level, if I go for high, it's giving me a warning. If I go for medium, that's gone. Incident type, we could put in incident like type 1, type 2, type 3. And then we've got our select from device here, so I can go in and I can embed, and we can make that a bit smaller, I think. So I can mark off what the issue is here. So let's go and make that a bit smaller. This is all about agile building. You want to be able to go in, you want to be able to make changes, as and how you see fit. I'll make it maybe 300 pixels. And we'll go with just one other one here. We'll make this incident type. We'll look up a list for this one here. So if I go in here, and there's my incident type. I already have a single column list here. We can lock into that. And then we might reposition these as well here. So we might put incident type above incident description. And maybe we'll have the image here as well. So that's the refinements I need to make to the initial step. What I want to do next is I want to have that AI summarization in place. Now to do the AI summarization, I want to add a couple of questions to the second step here first, because that's the step that I want to have that summary visible to that assessment step owner. So I'm going to add my questions here to facilitate that. The first one is going to be a multiple lines of text question. I'm just going to call it summary. But what we also have is a special question type here to give feedback on that AI summarization. So I'm going to add a question for that too. And that is my, gone here somewhere. Where is it? Just bear with me a second. There it is, summarization feedback. And once we have these two questions in place, you see the like, dislike here. I'm going to position this up here. The summary, I'm going to make read only. I don't want the user editing it. I just want to get their feedback on it. And once they give their feedback on it here, if they do like what's generated by AI summarization, we can then propagate that information throughout the rest of the flow. We can include it and generate documents and so on once it's got that like. And that can be covered with a condition. If feedback equals like, then use the summary going forward. If not, it can be discarded. What I need to do then is I need to add my rules. So far we've been working on question change rules. And again, having a single build interface, it's all about context. You can see where your rules sit, why they sit where they sit. So for example, if I select affected system service, I can see my rule here. I can disable my rule from here, edit my rule from here, see a summarization of my rule from here. Again, same principle here for severity level. I know if severity level equals high, I show a warning. So I can see where my rules are, why they sit where they sit, as distinct from having a form or app rendering component that has to knit with an automation workflow component. You have to weave the two together. In this case, you don't. It's all done from the same single interface. So far we've applied question change rules. We're now going to apply a step level rule. So I'm going to select the step here, which is instant report. And we're going to do this on submit. So the moment the user clicks submit, I know that's it. It's leaving their desk and I want to have a step completed rule here. So if I go to my add rules and I'm going to AI assistance, there's my summarization rule there. If I select that, and again, you know you're at step level, the events are completing, starting, or saving. I don't have a condition. What I need to do now is I need to determine what the input questions are going to be. That's going to return a summary. So I'm going to pick out a few here. I'm going to pick out the reporter's name. I'm going to pick out contact number. Actually, I'll leave out contact number. I'm going to pick out affected system service, system, incident type, incident description, and severity level. My output question, I've already set that up here. So my output question is on the second step, and that is my summary. Feedback question, we just lock into it here. And that is it in place. So if I were to create a form now, test form, and I fill in some of these fields, and put in a date and a severity level. The moment I click submit, that rule is going to fire the AI summarization rule, step completed rule, and it's going to bring through into the second step my summary. Any questions coming through, Robbie?
Yeah, there was just one there around using lists. Just a question around why would you need to use lists?
Yeah. So lists are very, very useful when you want to kind of control how the user is filling out a form. So if you've got any kind of structured information like this here, use lists. Use list matrices where you can dig in and filter and extract information. It saves a lot of time. It gives you that single source of truth. And quality of data you're collating, the user experience is massively improved. So you can see here in the summary, I've reported a high severity incident regarding system one where a user cannot log in. And okay, I'm happy that I'm going to click like. We've got some additional questions here. Now I could change these to yes, no's, and so on. What I want to do here is I actually want to add a question of my own here. I want to ask request clarification. So if I'm not entirely sure what the issue is with this user, I want to be able to send it back to that user and request additional information. So I'm going to just close this here. And I'm going to go back into my builds. I'm on the second step here. I'm going to add request clarification, or just, yeah. And I'm going to make that multiple lines of text. Actually, I'm going to make it a yes, no. And if the answer is yes, what I want to do is I want to have a multiple lines of text clarification question. Now, the thing here is I may not need this, so I'm going to hide it. I'm going to put my trigger point here. Again, another question change rule. If request clarification equals yes, show clarification, which we've hidden. So I'm on my trigger question, go to my add rules. It's a hide show question rule. And if I go in and edit my conditions, drill down into my second step, if request clarification equals yes, and again, 100% no code. If that condition is fulfilled, I want to show clarification, which is currently hidden. But what I also want to do is I want to add clarification to the initial step because I want to have that embedded on the initial step if that clarification is needed. So I'm going to add a question for that called clarification. I'll make it multiple lines of text. And because I don't know at this point whether it's going to be needed or not, I'm going to hide it. I'm also make it read only because when it is visible, I don't want the user to edit it. So now at step level here, if I go to my add rules, I want to pass it back to that first step. If request clarification here equals yes, simple as that. If request clarification equals yes, we're sending it back. There's only one step to send it back to. What I want to do next is I want to be able to go in and I want to be able to show this clarification hidden on the first step. Excuse me. So I'm going to use a hide show question rule here. Again, governed by the same condition. Request clarification equals yes. If that condition is met, we're going to show clarification question on the first step. And the last thing I want to do is a set question value rule, whereby we're going to copy the comments or the clarification from the second step back into the first step. So it's a set question value rule. My target question, clarification on the first step, my comments or clarification is coming through from that second step. And again, you can see how quickly that's put together. Just create a test form just to show you how that looks. I won't fill any of these in here for the moment. We don't need them. Just going to click submit. So if I say request clarifications equals yes, rule fires, I can put in my question here. The moment I click submit, 3 rules firing, pass back, hide show question, set question value. So the user can go in here and make the appropriate change. The last rule I'm going to put in place here is on this step, request resolution attempt. So again, we're going to ask a question here, is an escalation required? And I'm going to go in here and make that a yes, no. Now, if the answer is yes, we then want to engage the escalation step here. So again, I'm going to hide that step. It's not necessarily needed. Trigger point to determine whether it's required is here. If escalation equals yes, then we're going to show the escalation step. So if I go to my add rules here, I'm going to use a hide show step. It's a question change rule. I'm on my trigger question. When I go into my conditions, all I have to do is drill down here, and I'm going to select here, escalation equals yes. That condition is met. I want to show the escalation step. You can test it real quick here too. So you can see here there's no escalation step. If I go yes, we now have to engage it. If I go no, it's gone again. And that's how quickly you can build out. So I know that's a very, very quick whistle-stop tour of the system. What I want to show you next very quickly is some of the other capabilities. We have a generate document capabilities. So if you have a document you need to generate, we've got a FlowForma Word plugin that allows you to generate a document of your choice, and you populate that document with content from the form instance. All you need to have is your tokens in place here, which you can cursor position as and where you wish in your document template. And when you use the generate document template rule, all of these tokens will be populated with the appropriate content from that form instance. That document in turn can be converted to a PDF. It can be routed through to a defined document library or sent off into another system using our integration options. It can be bolted onto emails, both internal and external. What's worth pointing out here as well is you can also apply logic here as well to the actual content that's generated. So I have a rule sitting in place here for this portion of the generated document. If I go into my rules tab, you'll see what the condition is. So you'll see here, if the instance report system answer equals system 1, then you're going to display that content. If the answer is system 2, this content will be stripped out of the generated document, and the document will contract to reflect that. So again, very, very powerful. And here's an example of one of those generated documents here. So again, you can use whatever template you wish. You can design it any which way you want as well. So I'm going to move across here very quickly. I know it's a very, very quick tour. What I wanted to kind of emphasize here was obviously the power of Copilot to take a lot of the heavy lifting out of having that framework, having that structure to your process build, and then the speed which you can actually go in and build on top of that using 100% no code, but also a single build interface. And having as well that context where you can see where your rules sit and why they sit where they sit, which I think is as important as the fact that you're using simple business logic to build out. So I'm going to switch across and show analytics. So any questions, Robbie, coming through just whilst I set that up?
Yeah, I'll have a look now. So there's one there that I can take. So who would be the best person within my organization to make processes? Would this person need training? Really, so I've been with the company 6 years and I've delivered processes across multiple organizations and business verticals within those organizations. So a subject matter expert would be, somebody that is familiar with the process, an administrator. Sometimes that's a team. And in terms of training, that's part of the onboarding process. So our sure starts, we enable you as part of your first process. And then there's 2-day training followed by advanced training. There's multiple different training and onboarding options that enable you in order to be comfortable to do what Dave has just demonstrated here in terms of building out the process.
Very good. So I'm just going to bring up here an example of our analytics. So a couple of things just to mention here at the head. It's FlowForma Insights gives you what's effectively real-time visibility of data so you can make informed business decisions. It uses FlowForma's advanced reporting to push the data through into SQL. It's picked up then by our FlowForma Insights analytics tool here, and you get that what's effectively real-time visibility of your data and that single source of truth. You can build these dashboards very, very quickly, and the ones you're looking at here are all out of the box pre-canned charts that are already in situ for you. And should you wish to build out your own charts as well, you can very easily do so. Typically what our customers do is they will use our kind of pre-canned process related out of the box charts here, and then they will build additional charts to hook in business data that's collated in the forms. So it's very useful for multiple reasons, these types of process charts here. You want to be able to go in and see if there's issues with specific processes in your organization. So for example, here, if I were to look at expenses, there's 4 of these overdue. I can get a tabular view of those form instances and drill down into a specific form. So maybe it's a case that a process has to be changed or refined. Maybe end user adoption isn't as strong as you'd like it to be. Maybe you need to go in and change service level agreements or times of completion in your actual process design. You can go in and look and see, say, for example, for leave requests, if I click on this here, you can get very, very valuable insights as to, why there's a volume of forms at a moment in time. So obviously for leave requests, you can see here, there's a bit of a spike prior to the summer when people are applying for the summer holidays, and similarly a little bit of a spike here as well when it comes to pre-Christmas. So you're able to get that visibility, and again, you can drill down and go into specific form instances as well. Now, again, another one just to give you another idea. If I wanted to go into look at sick leave here, you'll see sick leave is at its highest during the winter months, drops during the summer, rises a bit when we transition into the winter months, September, October, and then drops again towards Christmas. So you get visibility of, why forms are, why there's a volume of forms at a moment in time, but also as well the ability to drill down into specific form instances as well if you need to actually gain visibility as to what's happening for a specific form. You can go in and look at specific individuals as well here. So for example, if I were to pick Anne Doyle, I can go in and I can take a look and see exactly what processes she's actually created forms for. So these types of dashboards, again, as I said, are very, very quick and easy to make. So to show you how easy they are, if I go in here, I can create a chart section directly underneath the forms in progress here. I could go in and, as I said, use one of our pre-canned ones here. So I could go into overdue items in progress, and I have my bar chart straight away, and then I have my drill down straight away too. So I can then go into a specific form instance here if I wish, and I can have visibility of, what the issue is there. So as I said, these are all pre-canned, pre-built charts, all around processes and process performance, times to completion, service level agreements, etc. And then you can build your own charts and merge these in here as well if you want to tie these into specific business data that's collated in your process builds. So it's all about having those actionable insights. It's all about bringing all that data together so you can make informed decisions. So that's my section done there, Robbie. So if I'm going to hand over to your good self.
Perfect. Cheers. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, that was great.
Right.
You can see how Copilot can really expedite the time to development on that from going from nothing to where you are there in that short period of time. It's amazing.
That's
So
massive.
yeah, I just want to So I just want to talk about some case studies, as you can see here on your screen. So FlowForma is trusted by organizations around the world, from Fortune 500 companies to smaller businesses with as few as 50 employees. And as you can see on your screen there's a quick snapshot of some of our valued customers. So some massive organizations there. I want to focus in on one that you can see there, Downer. So Downer is a leading provider of integrated services in Australia and New Zealand. It operates with over 30,000 employees across 120 locations. They faced several challenges, including delays in completing on-site processes, manual errors from paper-based systems, and siloed sites that hindered data-driven strategies. Additionally, then, underutilized applications represented a missed opportunity for growth. To address these pain points, Downer automated 23 processes, including purchase order requests, project inductions, wage staff timesheets, and their bitumen plant operations process. The benefits of automation were significant. So time savings across teams, improved efficiency with integrated workflows, enhanced governance and productivity, data-driven reporting, better client perception that fueled their growth. The automation also provided a clean audit trail for improved accountability. So as a result, Downer saved 1,200 hours on purchase order requests forms and 354 hours on project inductions. And they were able to digitize processes 4 times faster than with Power Apps. Some of our other success stories then, as you can see here, Abingdon and Whitney College saved over 5,000 administrative hours annually with FlowForma. A European hospital eliminated more than 900,000 sheets of paper, contributing to a more sustainable operation. And Jackson successfully automated over 400 processes in just 1 year, showcasing the speed and efficiency of FlowForma's platform. So these are just a few examples of how FlowForma is driving real impact for our customers. So if anything you've seen here in terms of Dave's demo and those success stories, if you want to implement similar success stories in your organization, just a brief intro to FlowForma's unique 14-day trial experience. So at FlowForma, we're confident our platform will not only meet but exceed your expectations. And that's why we offer a fully supported 14-day trial. So this is a risk-free opportunity for you to prototype, build, and deploy an automated digital process within FlowForma. And you've seen the speed at which you can do it there just a few moments ago with Dave. You'll receive guided support in selecting a process that aligns with your business goals, allowing you to prove the value of FlowForma firsthand. This experience will give you the confidence that FlowForma is the right platform to support your digital transformation. It will also help you to build a strong business case for investing in digital process automation. You'll get to test drive FlowForma in a fully supported, risk-free environment, tapping into the expertise of process specialists such as myself and Dave here. We'll guide you every step of the way, and plus you'll get to have a working prototype in terms of a digital process that you'll have as a powerful tool to help secure internal buy-in. So just a brief overview then on how our trial works, so the journey that you'll take. So let me walk you through how that would work. So within the first week, what we would do is we would activate your trial environment and your licenses for your team. And then together with consultancy sessions, we'll agree on the success criteria to ensure the trial meets your specific needs. Next, then we move on to some co-development sessions. And in the first session, then we'll start building the defined process together. And then moving forward into the final co-dev session, we'll collaborate to finalize that process within FlowForma. And finally, once everything is in place, we'll successfully launch your automated process then, giving you a first-hand experience of the value of FlowForma can bring to your organization. So it's a really unique differentiator for us here in terms of we want to consult with you with your process and give you confidence that FlowForma really aligns in terms of meeting your business objectives. Okay, so I'm going to hand back over to Ursula now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Robbie. And Dave, that was a really great demonstration. So yeah, as Robbie just discussed there, we do have a offering of a free trial where you can have 14 days to jump into FlowForma and experience it for yourself. Or the secondary option there is getting a tailored demonstration. So I know Dave just went through a quick demo there, but if you would like to schedule a one-to-one demonstration with one of our process experts, that's also available. So just to decide, we're going to launch a poll for you now where you can select if you would rather have your tailored demonstration or if you'd rather have an access to a 14-day free trial. So I'll just leave that up there for a couple of moments just so you can pop in your votes. And while you're doing that, please have a think as well if you have some questions for Dave or Robbie that we can answer. We have just a couple of minutes left in our webinar, but we'll try to get one or two questions if we can. So what I'll do is I'll end that poll now and we will just jump straight into our Q&A. So first question here, Dave, if I can share this one with you. Someone is asking here that they use Power Platform and they want to know how much faster is FlowForma and why is it faster?
Okay, yeah, I have a bit of experience using Power Platform, and I would say it's anything from it's at least 4 times faster to build than FlowForma. One of the challenges with Power Platform is that the more complex the processes you're building out, the greater the effort and the length of time it takes to implement it, because you've got your app on one side, you've got your Power Automate on the other side, and you have to knit the two together. It can get very complex, and if you have to make changes to it going forward, that takes time too. And it's the maintenance of processes is very important to consider too, not just the initial build, because processes change over time, and you have to be able to go in and make a change without fear of breaking everything. So 4 times faster at least.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dave. Robbie, maybe you can take this one here. We'll just squeeze one last one in. This person, Jessica, she's saying that she's used no-code platforms in the past, but they weren't really no-code. Is FlowForma truly no-code?
Yeah, it's a truly all-in-one solution, as you can see there from David's demonstration. That is the one environment, the Flow Designer. Typically with other solutions, you'd have forms and you'd have some sort of low-code expertise, or you'd need that development in the background in order to stitch them together to make a process. But FlowForma is process orientated. We deal in the process, everything that you see there in terms of the Flow Designer. as a process. It's an all-in-one tool. You won't have to go outside that environment to get these what are referred to in other products as forms. They're steps, because we deal in the process. So you're never going outside the environment that you've seen Dave demo today in order to build an entire process.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Robbie. And with that, we will come to an end of our webinar. I just would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Robbie and Dave, for a really informative session, and hopefully we see you again next time.